Watcha folks, it's the dog here. Just a new little entry in the selection of videos. I thought I'd do a little video diary of today. It's Wales Comic Con day today, so we're on our way back from Wrexham today. It's 5:30 in the evening, so the traffic's not too bad on a Saturday evening. Big guest announcements down there this year. Obviously Charlie Hunnam was the big one. Lots of Sons of Anarchy guests, a fair few other guests from other series, but I've gone down there all guns blazing for the Sons of Anarchy crew today. All in all, not too bad an event. Unfortunately, drastically crowded. Literally no space to move in the entrance ways. You know, very unsafe today. People cramming their way through a small entrance hall. People trying to come in, trying to come out, and there's just no space to move at all. So I think the organisers of WalesCon need to look at that. Secondly, security today, not the best at all. A lot of them seem very intrusive. A lot of them were being very dominant, pushing their way around. Other ones just leaning against walls, filling their faces with food, not really paying any attention to what they're doing, not really caring. Just obviously coming from a security background, didn't strike me as the best. I think they could probably do with a little bit more of a realisation that they're at a family-friendly event and not an event where they're going to be going out scrapping for their lives, which is what they seem to be preparing for. Just on a side note, I think people need to realise that some of these events aren't appropriate for 2 and 3 buggy pushchairs and families with very small children. You can see these children getting tired and frustrated by the end of the day. Parents getting very frustrated because people weren't moving out the way for them, and I'm just thinking, well, why should people move out of their way for you? You've been silly enough to bring a huge double, triple pram to an event that you know is going to be ridiculously crowded, and you're getting cross because you can't just shoulder barge your way through everyone with this pram. It's not how it works, my friend. You need to have a little bit of consideration for everyone else as well as yourself, a little bit of give and take. And unfortunately, you need to realise when there's that many people, it's not an environment that's conducive to very young children that are still in prams. Yeah, when your kids get to 6, 7, 8 and they can interact at the event, enjoy the things that they're there to see. Not when they're babes in arms, not when they're in prams. They don't know what's going on, and it's just a ridiculous idea to put yourself in a situation where you're carrying around a big bag with all your memorabilia or your baby's welfare needs. You've got a great big buggy, and it's tight quarters for everyone at the best of times, especially in an event like this today, which appeared to have been quite seriously oversold to my taking. Anyway, that's just by the by. Big negative point today, again for WalesCon. Second year in a row to my direct knowledge, maybe even longer than that, but it's 2 years in a row it's happened. Guests have been announced on the website that are selling autographs and selfies and so on at one price. We get to the event and they're yanking their prices up by £5-10 a piece. Just the Sons of Anarchy guests that I got today ended up costing me about an extra £40, I think it was, something like that. Now that's really not acceptable. You need to realise that, you know, if you have a contract with these guests, they need to adhere to it. I mean, I'm sure they'd be very upset if they didn't get paid what they were supposed to get in their contracts. You know, why are they allowed to behave outside the terms of the contracts and not sell autographs and so on at the advertised price? Absolutely disgusting behaviour. I know it's not the first time. I know that there was I think it was MCN, I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, Tony Todd was doing the same. He was advertising an autograph at one price, and if they brought down an item that wasn't just a table photo off of his table, he then tried to double his autograph price to £50. Now, with all due respect, Tony, a £50 guest you ain't. And if people want an autograph, that's fine, but you shouldn't be charging different prices just for different things. There's several Star Wars guests that are doing the same thing. I think the bounty hunters have been discussed to death about doing this. They'll charge one price for an item, but if they see that you need their autograph to complete a multi-bounty hunters scene, for instance, they'll charge more just because they know that you need them to complete that, and it's really, really not on. And I call on events organisers, agents and guests. If it's your agents that are doing it on your behalf and you're the guest, speak to your agent. Kim Coates, for example, today, absolutely wonderful, lovely guy. Talked to us and said he knows the other people there have put their prices up. I think he mentioned about having a different agent dealing with him that was with them, but he said no, he's not going to put his price up because he doesn't think it's right that that's what's happened. And fair play to the guy, you know, you can't argue with that. But if you're a guest and your agent's doing that without your knowledge, stamp on it, rein your agent in, tell them to pack that in. If you're the guest and you're telling your agent to do that, it's not on. If you want a price for your autograph, tell the people what price you want. If you're not making enough money at your autograph, advertise it at the amount that you want and let people make the choice of whether they want to spend that money with you or not. It's really not fair and not okay for people to budget, especially at an event like this coming up before Christmas, and then have the budget blown out of the water and not be able to afford the items or autographs that they want. Yes, there's always going to be people that say, oh, well, it's your choice, you know, you don't have to have these autographs, you don't have to attend these events. No, of course you don't have to at all. But people spend a lot of the time of the year saving up for these events. And if you're like me, you know, you've got a couple of kids, you work, you know, often you live paycheck to paycheck. Finding several £100s for these events isn't just something you can pull out your ass. It's something you save for over the space of several months, and that's what I've done this year. I've had to save about 3 months to get the £300 that I needed today. But again, it's just really not fair, because people are going to be very, very tight on money, and these guests that are going, generally, as a rule of thumb, not all of them, but most of them, are much more financially comfortable than the people that are buying their autographs. And essentially it comes down to ripping off people that've already bought tickets to come and see you. They've already budgeted money to give to you for the privilege of a few seconds of your time. And if you're a big guest, a Charlie Hunnam, a William Shatner, a Billy D. Williams, a Mark Hamill, you know, a guest of that caliber, you're going to be charging a lot of money for what is essentially just a few seconds of your time. Set the price that you want, stick to it, because all it's going to do is promote disharmony in the community that's coming out for you, and you're just going to make your own fans get disgruntled, and obviously that's not what you want, because you need the fans to be in the position that you're in. You know, you want these fans to keep buying your product, keep buying into you as an actor, keep buying into you as an artist. And if you keep just chopping and changing the goalposts every chance you get, your fans aren't going to stick with you for long. I know in the collecting community that I'm in, there's several guests that a lot of my pals won't buy from now because they've had that happen to them. And there's people on a couple of the Comic-Con groups today that are talking about, you know, Wales Comic-Con, it not being the first time it's happened there. I know there's other events, but me personally, I've had this happen 2 years in a row now. So it seems to me to be something that needs to be stepped on, and stepped on firmly. Otherwise, your whole event is going to go to pot. People are taking the word of organisers, be it Showmasters, be it MCM, be it I think Rogue Events have gone bump now, but whoever it is, you know, whoever the showrunner is, it doesn't matter. People are taking their word that the prices and the ticketing and the guest prices and everything else are going to be what they advertise. Of course, we all accept from the outset, guests can cancel, guests can become poorly, whatever can happen can happen. A guest actively changing the goalposts on a fan on the day of the event with no warning, it's not on. Come on, guys, get yourself sorted out. Showrunners, straighten up your contracts, make it impossible for them to do this. I mean, I've spoken to a couple of showrunners at larger firms, and you know that they don't seem to have it happen to them, whether it's because they're able to have much stronger contracts or they're stronger at negotiating. I don't know. I'm not a showrunner, so I can't comment, but obviously something needs to be done, otherwise folk are just going to end up getting alienated from these events. And the fans that are attending these events and putting their money into the pockets of the event runners and the guests and the traders, without those fans you're not going to have an event, you're not going to make any money. So come on, guys, for the sake of all of us, sort it out. It's not fair.